G, the new season has started. I've been hearing a lot of mixed inputs on whether G is buffed, whether G is nerfed, what really happened to G, right? So according to the patch notes, for the most part, roundhouse, crouching medium punch, heavy kicks got general changes that fix the character. Upper half of the hitbox no longer hits airborne opponents, you know, just little small minor stuff. But the big noticeable changes that I really want to talk about is the presidential level 3. Except for G impact, all special moves can now be cancelled with EX specials. Basically saying, once you hit level 3, you can now freestyle with this character as if you was in V-Trigger. That is a big plus. That actually increases his offense. So that is actually a big buff. Something to be concerned about are the fireballs. The fireballs for level 1 and level 2 now have an expanded hurt box during recovery, and I've seen it happen. Once the fireball actually makes contact with the ground and you see that explosion, you can now whiff punish that. That is actually a big nerf. That is a big nerf. That will actually make you second guess throwing random fireballs. Now you're going to want to make sure that all fireballs hit. G barrier, V skill 1. Delayed projectile absorption from 9 frames to 13 frames. You can't react to it as fast the closer you are. The farther back you are, you have more time. You won't really be able to react to it as easy up close. That's a slight nerf, but I guess you could say that's normalizing him a little bit. Maximum President, V trigger 1. This is what a nerf comes in at. I've adjusted V timer in line with presidential level when V trigger is activated. When you're at base level, you have 2500 frames for this duration. Presidential level 2, you have 500 more frames. Presidential level 3, normal V trigger before it got nerfed. So if you can manage to activate or get to level 3 before you pop V trigger, you now have normal V trigger timing. This is a nerf overall. I feel like this is normalizing G also. Instead of popping it for a comeback mechanic, which is what the V-Trigger is for. If you want to maximize on V-Trigger now, you have to make sure that you're either in level 2 or level 3. Because 9 times out of 10, the only time you are able to pop V-Trigger is when you're taking a beating. Basically saying you probably won't have presidential level built up unless you're using V-Skill 2. V-Skill 2 may be the new wave, who knows? G barrier in V-Trigger 1. V-timer cost increased from 300 frames to 500. 200 more frames is being used every time you pop a V-Skill 1 in V-Trigger. So that's actually making the timer go down even faster. Let's go over this in the training lab, and then at the end, I'm going to finally decide if G was overall buffed or was he overall nerfed. So let's go ahead and bring this into the training mode and see for ourselves. I'm gonna just go down the list and talk about a little bit everything that, well, not everything. I'm gonna just talk about the presidential level 3, the fireballs, and the V-trigger timer. We all know that the normal route for G fares into that, into that, into that, into that. So if you pay attention to the V timer, we didn't already use 3/4 of our V-trigger just off of that one combo. You have enough time for probably, once you get them in the corner, you have time for one low into a V skill, and then after that, that's it. Now, if you're in level 1, well, you got yourself a slight bit more time because they added in 500 more frames. So now with this combo, you can now pull off something like this. You can't get the EX low V skill, fireball V skill, roundhouse. You now have to follow up with something different because your time is a little bit extended, but not the same. But max level presidential level, we're now at the V trigger that we all know and love. We now get the normal timer. Now we at half, we have them in the corner. We still got 3/4 to mess around with, no 1/4 to mess around with, and yeah. So talking about that a little bit, that is a nerf. Like I said, it's a nerf because now we have to pick and choose when is it a good time to pop V-trigger. So now we have to pay attention to the life lead. Now we have to pay attention to, is it worth it in this situation just to get one combo off? That one combo, was it worth it? Maybe I could have saved my V-trigger for V reversals, for V shifts. Now we just have to think about, is popping V-trigger worth it? So overall, for this situation, it's a nerf, but I feel like it's going to raise awareness for G players, right? Because now it's going to make you more wary about if you want to pop it or not. It's going to take some time to get used to, but it's going to shake up the meta a little bit. So another thing that I do want to talk about is the fireballs. All right, come on, Sakura. look at that. Look at that. I did it. I don't play this character, so excuse me. I gotta wait for the fireball to come out first, then dash. Bro, look at that. Look at that nonsense. This, hands down, is a nerf. Hands down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a nerf. Look at that. Oh my god. That is a nerf. That is a nerf. Hands down a nerf. Alright, so I just wanted to demonstrate that. Basically, overall, all I can say about that is gonna make a G player weary about throwing random fireballs. So now we just have to be more cautious about spacing and where they're at, because you don't want to miss no fireballs. You do not want to miss a fireball. So with the normal G barrier, delayed projectile absorption from 9 frames to 13 frames. So like I said, the closer you are, it's going to become a little bit harder to pull this off. Not saying it's impossible. It's going to be harder to pull this off now. So let's say we're going against a guy, right? And this character is zoning us out, right? Tiger shot. Tiger. 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 Bada bing, bada boom. See? Because of them slight frames that got increased, it's going to be a little bit harder to pull this off up close. The farther you are, the better. See? Even that far, if you mess it up, you still have a chance of getting hit. So that's not a big nerf, but that's also a nerf. EX command grab. The only thing they did with this was more damage, more stun. Hands down a buff. More damage, more stun. You can't go wrong with that. EX spin kick. They increased the hitbox forward for the second attack. So since they increased the hitbox on the second attack, does that mean it's more pushback? I don't quite know what that means. The last and final thing that I do want to talk about is max level, presidential level, and being able to freestyle your moves at the cost of a bar. This hands down is a buff. Hands down. Hands down a buff. You now get to spin a bar just to chain up one EX move besides G impact after any special move. That is a buff. So now basically, say you got trigger pop. You have trigger pop 24/7 now, as long as you can stay at max level. Now this may actually force people to use V skill 2. We may end up seeing some more V skill 2 users. I can see that happening. So now, if you jump at me, bam, you now have a chance of getting EX command grab. Boom. If I see this combo works, boom, spin another bar, damage. Damage. Say, yeah, EX low on the fireball. Anything that you could think about, you could cancel it now. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. We have a infinite GV trigger, as long as we can stay at max level. So is this a buff or a nerf? That's a buff. So with that being said, nerf to V trigger, with the nerf to the fireballs, with the buff to the fact that he is able to now cancel at any given time once you're in max level, nerf to the barrier, the increased damage to command grab, I'm gonna say that G is G. G is G. G is not buffed, G is not nerfed. He took some nerfs, he took some buffs, boom, we have G. It's really all we can say. We have G. I feel like this character will be played slightly different. He's still going to be G. I think that's pretty much all I can say on that. And I feel like that's my input on it. If anybody has anything else to say, please feel free to put it down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, because you know I upload 5 times a week. You won't miss a beat. The sauce is always cooking. With that being said, y'all, bye. Bye. Happy New Year's. Bye. Bye. And that's a wrap.